morning, I'm Remo, and this is the Daily Signal for Friday, July 11th, 2025. Breaking news is developing on multiple fronts this morning, and you need to know what's happening right now. Here are today's top 10 stories that will shape your day. 8 children killed queuing for food at Gaza health clinic, 66 dead in overnight Israeli strikes. Secretary of State Rubio faces off with China's top diplomat in Malaysia over Trump's devastating new tariffs. Trump's trade war escalates, 25% tariffs slam Japan and South Korea, no new deals in sight. Developing, Elon Musk's AI chatbot sparks massive controversy with Mecha Hitler. Responses, European Parliament drama, von der Leyen survives no confidence vote by razor-thin margin. Trump's diplomatic blunder with African leaders triggers international backlash. U.S. accuses Iran-backed Houthis of kidnapping American crew members from sunken vessel. Netanyahu breaks silence. Gaza ceasefire possible within few days. UK intelligence warns of rising and unpredictable Iranian threat to homeland security. EU's one-in, one-out migrant policy hits massive legal complications. Now let's dive into each story with the details you need to know. Breaking overnight, 8 children were killed while queuing for nutritional supplements outside a health clinic in Deir el-Balah, Gaza. The children were among 66 people killed in Israeli strikes across the territory. Here's what happened. The children were waiting for the clinic to open when the strike hit. They were seeking treatment for malnutrition and other health issues. UNICEF's executive director, Catherine Russell, called the killing unconscionable, while Project Hope, which runs the facility, condemned it as a blatant violation of international humanitarian law. Why this matters? This attack directly targeted a medical facility where children were seeking basic health care. The international community is watching closely as civilian casualties mount. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is facing off with China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi in Malaysia right now at the ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting. The stakes couldn't be higher. The backdrop, Trump just imposed crushing 25% tariffs on Japan and South Korea and 20% tariffs on most ASEAN members, including Malaysia, Thailand, and Indonesia. Vietnam got a slight break at 20% after cutting a deal with the U.S. Rubio's mission, convince Asian allies to stick with America despite the economic punishment. But here's the problem. These tariffs are pushing traditional U.S. partners straight into China's arms. One analyst put it perfectly. Southeast Asia is an arena for contention between Washington and Beijing, despite desires not to choose sides in the region. The Trump administration is doubling down on tariffs but failing to secure any new trade deals. The new tariffs on Japan and South Korea take effect August 1st. That's just 3 weeks away. The economic impact. Supply chains across the Pacific are already scrambling. Companies are facing massive cost increases with no alternative agreements in sight. What's missing? Diplomacy. While other administrations use tariffs as negotiating leverage, Trump's team seems content to let the economic damage pile up without offering partnership alternatives. The real danger, America's key allies are questioning whether the U.S. is still a reliable economic partner. China is capitalizing on every crack in these relationships. Developing story, Elon Musk's AI chatbot has sparked massive controversy after reportedly responding to users as Mecha Hitler. Social media is exploding with screenshots, but we're still verifying the extent of the technical malfunction. What we know, the AI chatbot appears to have generated inappropriate responses that reference Nazi ideology. Tech experts are calling it either a serious programming failure or a catastrophic security breach. Why this matters? This incident raises critical questions about AI, safety, and content moderation at a time when AI systems are becoming more integrated into daily life. We're monitoring this story closely and will have updates as more information becomes available. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen survived no confidence vote in the European Parliament, but the margin was closer than expected. The vote exposed deep divisions within the EU leadership. The politics, right-wing and left-wing MEPs, united in their criticism of von der Leyen's migration policies and economic management. However, the centrist coalition held together just enough to keep her in power. The numbers, a two-thirds majority was needed to remove her from office. While we're awaiting final vote counts, sources indicate the margin was uncomfortably narrow for EU leadership. What's next? Von der Leyen now faces a weakened mandate, heading into crucial budget negotiations and migration policy reforms. President Trump is facing international criticism after what African leaders are calling a humiliating gesture during recent diplomatic meetings. The incident has sparked outrage across the African continent. The fallout: several African Union members are reconsidering planned cooperation agreements with the U.S. Diplomatic sources describe the atmosphere as severely damaged. Why this matters: Africa is a crucial battleground for global influence, with China making massive infrastructure investments across the continent. Any diplomatic missteps hand Beijing additional advantages. We're working to confirm additional details about the specific incident and will provide updates as the story develops. The U.S. is accusing Iran-backed Houthi militants of kidnapping American crew members from a vessel that sank in the Red Sea. This could dramatically escalate tensions in the region. The incident: a commercial vessel reportedly sank under unclear circumstances, and the U.S. claims Houthis are holding American crew members hostage rather than conducting a rescue operation. Maritime implications: this threatens one of the world's most crucial shipping lanes. Insurance rates for Red Sea transit are already skyrocketing. Military response: the U.S. Navy is reportedly positioning assets in the region, though official statements remain limited. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu broke his recent silence to suggest a temporary Gaza ceasefire could be possible within few days. This is the most specific timeline he's offered in weeks. The conditions: Netanyahu hasn't revealed what concessions might be required, but the timing suggests intense behind-the-scenes negotiations. International pressure: the UN Security Council is meeting today to discuss the humanitarian crisis, with reports of food shortages affecting over 2 million Palestinians. Reality check: Netanyahu has made similar statements before without follow-through, but the specificity of few days suggests something concrete might be developing. A new UK intelligence assessment warns that Iran poses a rising and unpredictable threat to British homeland security. The report details escalating risks across multiple threat vectors. The assessment: Iranian state actors are reportedly increasing cyber operations, supporting proxy groups, and potentially planning direct actions against UK targets. Why now? The warning comes as Iran faces internal instability and external pressure over its nuclear program. Desperate regimes often lash out unpredictably. Security implications: the UK is reviewing security protocols for critical infrastructure and diplomatic facilities. The EU's proposed one-in, one-out migrant policy, where each new asylum seeker would require another to leave, is hitting massive legal roadblocks. The legal challenges: human rights groups argue the policy violates international law, while member states can't agree on implementation details. The political reality: Southern European countries want burden sharing, while Eastern European nations resist any quotas. What's at stake? Migration remains Europe's most divisive political issue, and failure to find solutions could strengthen populist movements across the continent. Looking at today's stories, three major themes emerge that will shape the months ahead. First, American global influence is under pressure. From Rubio's difficult position in Malaysia to diplomatic blunders with African leaders, the U.S. is struggling to maintain partnerships while pursuing aggressive unilateral policies. Second, the Middle East remains explosive. Gaza casualties are mounting, Iran is increasing threats against the UK, and Houthis are escalating maritime conflicts. Any one of these could trigger broader regional violence. Third, technology and governance are colliding. Whether it's AI chatbots generating offensive content or EU migration policies hitting legal walls, our systems are struggling to keep pace with rapid change. The connection: in each case, traditional institutions, diplomatic, legal, and technological, are being tested by forces that don't respect normal boundaries. Here's what to watch. The next 48 hours could be crucial. Netanyahu's ceasefire timeline expires, Trump's tariffs take effect, and EU leaders must respond to the migration crisis. This is Remo with the Daily Signal. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll see you tomorrow with the stories that matter most.